Ashirvad. Let me introduce Sanket Joshi sir. He is having a vast on-site experience for solar energy system at Kilbil International School, Satana, Esser Petrol Pump, Nasik, then Ashirvad Hospital, Aurangabad for standalone solar grid. His expertise in solar system and also electric vehicles. He has done his he has contributed for his research experience at KPIT Technology Bangalore, which is based on electric vehicle company. Also, as I said, he is a business development executive as a Rishabh Instrument Pune. So he's having the industrial experience at Rishabh Instruments, and now currently he is working as business development executive at Sanket Electronics and Electricals, which is having a very good experience in solar energy right from 1984 till date. So I welcome Sanket sir for in our department, and I request you to start with your session. Sanket sir. Sanket sir, I think you are muted. संकेत सर, am I audible? आवाज येतोय माझा संकेत सर? I once again welcome Sanket Joshi sir, who is going to deliver his expert talk on renewable energy system, and in that he will be uh, explaining the solar rooftop systems, how practically the solar system applications are going on as per his site in and around Nasik. So I request all the students to take benefit of this expert talk, and you can also discuss if you have any query with him after the lecture as well. Am I audible? Sanket Joshi, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I have introduced actually the students about you, and they are
Okay.
waiting for your lecture.
Yes, 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 definitely.
So I think you can start presenting the screen as well as you can start with the session, sir. I welcome you in the department once again.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Okay, just a moment. I'll share the screen.
Yes, yes.
Can everyone see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we are going to discuss about what exactly the renewable energy sources are. Okay. So first of all, if we see globally, there are basically various types of energy sources which we are using. The main contribution is of coal. We are using 60.8% of coal each year for producing energy. After that, there is a natural gases, diesel, nuclear, hydro, and then after it's a renewable energy. Now, why it is required to consider renewable energy? Because it's in the term. The energy is renewable, whereas others are non-renewable. Means we can use renewable energy continuously, irrespective of its presence. If we think that the renewable energy is usable for
Uh,
many times, non-renewable is
Sanket
not
sir,
usable
for
because
1 minute, may I interrupt? 1 minute,
Mhm,
please.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Students, Sanket sir and all of you, just now our honorable principal sir has joined. He is also always keen to discuss all the latest issues in various fields of engineering. So he has joined to encourage students and discuss with all of us. So welcome, sir, in the department for today's
Yeah.
expert talk on renewable energy sources.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. And Sanket sir, please continue. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, sir.
If we see about the global energy sources, what we are seeing that maximum use of energy is of non-renewable sources, and now it's the right time to discuss and study about the renewable sources. Okay, so next we see that renewable energy and non-renewable energy. So what is meant by renewable energy? Renewable energy is energy obtained from sources that are essentially inexhaustible, which means that this sources is not going to exhaust. It is continuously reproducing. Okay, Example of renewable energy sources includes wind power, solar power, geothermal, tidal, and hydroelectric power. The most important features of non-renewable renewable energy is that it can be harnessed without release of harmful pollutants. What it means that if we are going to produce energy by renewable sources, then there is no any kind of harmful pollutants is produced from it. Okay, what it means that if we are producing energy from non-renewable sources, it always comes with some pollutants, which is carbon dioxide, methane, ethane. But if we are going to produce energy by renewable sources, then there is a no any kind of harmful pollutants produced. Non-renewable energy is the conventional fossil fuels such as coal, oil, gas, which are likely to deplete with time. We all know that all these non-renewable sources are going to deplete during the times. Okay, if we consider in 1920s, we have lot of diesel available, lot of coal available, lot of petrol available, lot of crude oil available. Currently, we are only left with a 5 to 6% of it, and many is researching for more and more, but it is very difficult to find one of those. Okay, now we consider the first renewable energy source which is used, wind energy source. Wind energy is a free renewable resource, so no matter how much is used today, there will still be the same supply in the future. Wind energy is also source of a clean, non-polluting electricity unlike conventional power plants. Wind plants emits no air pollutants or greenhouses. We all know that there is no restriction for wind. It is present for the long time and it is completely inexhaustible. So that wind energy is completely free. We can easily get it anywhere. Okay. This is the main thing. How this wind energy source works. Okay. Now please see this diagram. This diagram elaborates about the wind turbine which is used at the wind tower. Okay. First thing is what? It's a blade. Second is a rotor, pitch, brake. Now you all know that blade is something which used to give the rotation to the turbine and by which we get the energy. Okay, rotor is used for rotating the blades. Pitch, if you know, pitch is something which gives you circular dimension by which the blades is rotating. After that, brakes. Sometimes the wind pressure is very high and we need to use brakes to limit that speed. Next one is a low speed shaft. If the wind speed is very low and we require to generate more amount of energy, then this low speed shaft is used. By using this shaft, we can set the turbine for the low speed by which we get the same amount of energy. After that, there is a gearbox. Some of you might know that there is a Enercon and Suzlon companies which makes the gearless operations, but in various countries and various cities in India, we uses the gearbox system. Gearbox system is really essential because gearbox system gives us authority or gives us command to control the speed of wind. Okay, means if the wind speed is very high, at that time we can control the gear to the lower range, so that even if the pressure is high, we can control the blades. If the pressure is wind pressure is lesser, we can increase that gear. After that, there is a generator. Next one is a controller. This controller controls the output level. Now, whatever the energy we get from the wind is a DC energy, and for that we require a proper controller. After that, there is a anemometer. Anemometer is something which used to give the direction to the wind turbine. After that, there is a wind vanes. Wind vanes means what? If we consider it is as a horizontally, then the air should be passed from the blades to the backside of the turbine, and for this we require a wind vanes to reduce the overall air drag. After that, there is a nacelles. Nacelles is what? Nacelles is something which is directly connected with the wind vanes. Nacelles gives the direction to the winds. After that, there is a high speed shaft. High speed shaft is used when the speed of the wind is very high. High speed shaft is nothing but a gear combination by which we can reduce the rotation of blade. After that, there is a yaw drive and yaw motor. Yaw means something with if we can say it's a directional. We have to direct the blades, and for that we require the yaw drive and the yaw motor. And last one is a tower on which this whole assembly is going to install. Now let's see how we get this energy. Now you see that the wind is coming to the tower. After that, there is a gear system and coupling. Then there is a generator, and in between that, in a closed loop system, the controller is attached. What is the function of the controller? Controller continuously observes the wind speed and the generating quantity, by which it can simplify and stabilize the power which is given to the power grid. Okay. Next main point is what? Tidal energy source. Tidal power or tidal energy is a form of hydropower that converts the energy obtained from tides into useful form of power, mainly into electricity. Now what exactly it means? That tidal is nothing but the wave energy. We are going to generate electricity by using waves. Okay, tides are more predictable than the wind and the sun, because we all know that there is a high tide, low tide, which is continuously running. Okay, among sources of renewable energy, tidal energy has traditionally suffered from relatively high cost and limited availability of sites with sufficient high tidal range or flow velocity, thus constraining its total availability. What this means that for installing this tidal energy generation, we have a firm beach. Means we cannot able to ductile. We cannot able to install this in a ductile bridge. Okay, we have the fixed beach and the proper construction is required, and that's why it cost very high. Please see this diagram. Now this is the tidal energy generation. Now we can see that this tidal electricity generated work as the tide comes in, and again when it goes out. The turbine are driven by the power of the sea in the both direction. Okay, you can see that there is a power lines, then there is a turbine. When the tide comes in, the generator rotates and we get the electricity. Now where the water goes, it's at the high point. So when the water again uh, decrease from that point, we get the tide out, and by which we get the electricity. Okay, see this. This is the proper construction of tidal energy generation. Now you can see that there is a ocean, then there is a head height, tidal barrage, road, sluice gates, high water level, and tidal basin. Now for installing these kinds of energy generation, we have to firstly do the tidal basins. Tidal basin is nothing but a high water level point at which we can store or we can collect the all tides up to certain level, and after that we are going to sluice gates. We are going to down the sluice gate so that we can store that for some time. When the ocean water is going inside the tidal basin, the turbine rotates and we get the energy. And after it reaches to the high water level point, the tidal basin gets discharged, and from then also we get the electricity. Okay? Next point is a biomass or biogas energy source. Biomass is an organic material that comes from plants and animals, and it is a renewable source of energy, because we all know that there is a wastage everywhere, and every wastage contains the solar power in it, so that we get the biomass from it. Biomass contains store energy from the sun. Plant absorbs the sun's energy in a process called as photosynthesis. When biomass is burned, the chemical energy in biomass is released as a heat. As I told you already, every waste contains some amount of solar energy by which we can get energy. Now this energy can be into any forms. It in forms of heat, or it is in form of some electricity. If we are using it as a LPG, CNG, we can use directly. We can burn the energy and we get the heat from it. Okay. If this kinds of energy is used as many applications. Okay. Let's see. First of all, see what exactly the sources of biomass. Now look, there is a municipal solid waste. After that, there is a industrial residues, animal residues, agriculture crops and residues, sewages and forestry crops. Means there are a lot of sources of biomass. Biomass is very important, because if we collect all kind of biomasses, we can generate huge amount of electricity as well as we can generate huge amount of energy. Now please see that applications of biomass energy. Biomass system ranges from small stoves used in homes for heating or cooking to large power plants used by centralized utilities to produce electricity. Now we all know that we have seen the first pie chart where we can see that there is a 70 to 80% of energy which is generated by coal. So we can replace that coal by using this biomass energy. Okay. In residential application, biomass can be used for space heating or for cooling. Industry and businesses use biomass for several purposes, includes space heating, hot water heating, and electricity generation. Many industrial facilities such as lumber mills naturally produce organic waste. For generating electricity, the producer gas from the biogas gasifier is first cleaned and cooled, then used as a fuel in IC engines. Means what? This biomass energy we can use and cool down it to convert that energy into liquid form, and we can use that again into IC engine to get the energy. Biomass has been continue to important source of energy for large shares of population in Asian countries, mainly for cooking, but also for industrial and services. Okay, this means that everyone is now considering biomass as a primary source of energy. Now this is the main point of today's seminar, which is solar energy, which is I am good at solar energy. Now let's see what exactly the solar energy is. Solar power is harnessed using solar photovoltaic technology that converts sunlight into electricity by using semiconductors. Okay, now see that we all can see solar energy. Okay, so how we are going to harness that energy, or how we are going to harvest that energy, it's the main point. Okay, what exactly we use for storing this energy is solar photovoltaic cells. Okay, this cells converts your sunlight into electricity by using semiconductors. Okay, when sun hits the semiconductor within a PV cell, electrons are freed and busbar collects the running electrons, which results in electric current. Now we all know that the potential difference. Okay, what is the definition of voltage flow? Is that when there is a potential difference, the voltage flows. This is the same thing. When the sun falls on the solar panel, the potential which is in the photovoltaic are trying to go out or trying to runs, and whatever the runs between their cells is nothing but what? The electrons, and electrons is nothing but the current. Okay. Next is what? Commercial residential PV modules range in power output from 10 watt to 300 watts. I have installed many projects of solars where we have used around 300, 320. Now it's around 320 to 350 watts panels are also presenting there. Okay, a PV module. Sorry. A PV model must have an inverter to change DC electricity into AC energy in order to usable by electrical devices and compatible with the electric grid. Now, we all know that whatever energy we get from the solar, it's in the DC form. Okay, whatever we get from the solar is a DC. With the panel, we get DC. For using it in home applications, we have to convert that DC into AC, and for that we require an inverter or a charge controller. Okay. Now let's see how we get this solar energy. Now you can see that the sun rays hits on the solar panel, then there is a flow of electric current, then there is a charge controller. Now what exactly the function of charge controller is? Nothing but the limit the value of current by which the battery is easily charged without any problems to the battery. Okay, now what exactly the charge controller is? This can be a MPPT charge controller. MPPT is nothing but a maximum power point tracker. Maximum power point tracking is something which tracks your power at the maximum level. As we all know that we get the highest amount of solar during 12 to 3 p.m. Okay, and for that is the maximum point of generation, and this charge controller is doing exactly the same. Whatever the voltage we are getting at that point, this maintains that voltage throughout the day, by which we get the similar and continuous output to the battery for charging. After the battery system, it is given to the inverter, and after that we uses that to convert DC into AC. Okay. Now we are going to see two basic types of solar inverters. Okay, first one is a on-grid system, which is nothing but a grid tie inverter, and next one is a solar off-grid system. Okay, on-grid system. Now this is very similar. What is the main difference between these both, which we are going to see that in this type of system we only required inverter. We doesn't require any kind of batteries. Okay, what happens in this that the solar rays hits on the solar panel and we get the DC output. Okay, the DC output is given directly to the inverter. Now this inverter is a modern inverter which can collect DC energy and gives output as a AC energy. Okay, what exactly this inverter does that this inverter compares the energy which get from the solar and give that energy directly to your household applications or your commercial applications, and the remaining energy is given directly to the net meter, and net meter is connected to the grid. That's why this system is called as grid tie system or on grid system. Now the net meter which we use here is a bi-directional. Okay, means you can send or collect electricity same time. Now what exactly the benefits of this system is that there is no any kind of maintenance for a batteries because it's a grid tie. You don't have to install a batteries for a backup. Okay. Secondly, whatever the energy is going to exceeds, we can give that excessive energy directly to the grid by which we get the incentives. Okay, so this is exactly the on-grid system. Basic thing is that the solar panel is connected directly to the inverter gives output to the household application as well as it gives output to the net meter gives that energy back to the grid. Okay, next one is a solar off-grid system. Now if we compare this above system with this off-grid system, what you can see that there is a controller and there is a batteries which is important. Now this is connected with the grid, this is not connected with the grid. Okay, let's see that how it works. In here the working is similar as a solar energy devices. We get the solar output and given it to the controller gives the proper charging current to the battery is connected to the inverter and inverter gives the power to the household application. Now here we have the required the maintenance for the batteries. Okay, here we don't require any kind of basic maintenance. Okay, but if we compare the advantages and disadvantages of both this system, what is the main disadvantages is that this system, solar off-grid system, can be used when there is no electricity. So that this system is also called as standalone system, where this system continuously requires solar for running its applications. If there is no solar and there is no MSCB or there is no grid, you are not a single device is going to run. Where in this system, even if the MSCB is not there or grid is not there, you can standalonely run all those systems. Now let's see what are the solar energy applications. First is heating and cooling of residential buildings. You have the HVAC subject where heating, ventilation and air conditioning. Now we can use solar energy as these devices because by using solar energy we can control these devices more efficiently. After that, solar water heating. Then solar drying of agriculture and animal product. Salt production by evaporation of seawater. Solar cookers, solar energies for water pumping, solar refrigeration, solar electric power generation, solar photovoltaic cells which can be used for electricity, and last one is a solar furnace. As an electrical engineer, we have to think about these two options. We continuously want an improvement in these options because these are the running options. Okay, now what is the main highlight of this seminar? That solar energy is easily available and easily usable. Wind energy is easily available, but it is more expensive compared to the other energy sources. Next one is a tidal energy, which requires the high initial cost. And after that, biomass is easily available, but it is not very efficient because we have to collect lot more wastes for generating small amount of biomass. So we all have to focus and develop more about solar energies as it's cheaper for a long term. I'm not saying that it is cheaper at the initial time, but if we see the long time, it is cheaper than the other ones. What are the advantages of solar energy is that it is completely renewable energy source. It is a long lasting solution. Easy installments. Return on investment. Easy installments means what? It is easy to install. We don't require any kind of a proper person to install this. Anyone with the basic knowledge can install this. After that, return on investment. If we connect this system with the on grid or even with the off grid, we can easily get the return on the investment. After that, this is the safe option. Also, Indian government offers some incentives continuously for solar users and improved efficiency. By continuously improvements, we get the proper improved efficiency. Now, if we consider this again, please consider one example. One college which is having a light bill of around 2 to 3 lakhs per month. Okay, if we connect this solar grid system, it will around cost. If we consider around 15 kilowatt of load, we require 15 lakhs of initial cost. If we install that system, then our light bill is going to be reduced from the next month of installation. How? Because whatever the energy is not used by the system, it is directly given to the grid tie system, so that the incoming energy is equal to outgoing energy, and that's why by using solar on grid system, the electricity bill is getting zero. One of my project installed in the Satana branch, that is Kilbil International School, have already sent me their light bills of. First of all, they are getting bill of around 1.5 lakhs, and now they are getting only 30,000. So this is the benefit of solar on grid system. Off grid is also very efficient because this is completely standalone system. Even if you can't take MECB, your system is continuously running. What is the main requirement? That you only require solar energy. Okay, we required electricity during some foggy days or rainy days, but other than that, this is a completely standalone system. Okay. Now, what is the business opportunity you get in the solar? Now everyone is developing any you are in the diploma and you also have to do projects. So what you can do, or what the business opportunity you get in the solar is that you can manufacture the solar machines, means those were off grid, on grid. After that, solar AMC means what? Solar annual maintenance commissioning. In this, what you are going to do in these things, you are going to continuously do a technical analysis of a machine, panel analysis, then power quality analyzing, power monitoring. So this comes in the solar AMC. After that, solar on grid as well as off grid sites. You can collect the tenders from the government to do these kinds of things. After that, there is a solar installation for industry and commercial complexes. This means what? You can install solar for a common lighting. It is not required. We must have to aware people to use solar, because solar is a free right now. Okay. We just require some initial cost by which we get the free electricity. And after that is a solar energy consulting. By solar energy consulting, you can aware the people about the solar energy and aware the people to use it. Thanks a lot. Anyone have any questions?
Students, I hope you have received a practical as well as theoretical knowledge about the various renewable energy sources, as well as main about the solar energy sources, how it is generated, and what are the various opportunities which are available in the field of solar energy. Okay, now if you have any queries, you can very well discuss with Sir Sanket sir. But before that, I request you all to make your cameras on so that we will have a snapshot, 1 or 2 snapshot, which are required for our record also. So students, please make your camera on.